Hey everybody, I want to talk briefly to the folks of Italy, Texas. I need to say I apologize, and I need to explain why. In tonight's stream, I was working through what was already in my mind a frustrating and worrisome situation where we saw signs of serious rotation that could easily have produced a tornado in a storm that normally wouldn't. It was a perfect situation where folks wouldn't have been prepared for that kind of severe weather, and it could have snuck up on them. So I had anxiety of my own. Well, then we had reports of sirens going off in Italy and had multiple reports that it was merely just an ambulance. There's been many streams where that was confused for actual, tornado sirens or outdoor warning sirens as they're technically called. And I'll get to that confusion in a second. But when you get into those moments where there's confusion about what's going on and there's already tension in place, I have a very bad habit, as many will remind you that know me personally, of trying to take over the situation and take charge. Well, my problem is that I tend to get too aggressive or condescending, as I'm told, with my wording. I try to take control and I try to take charge and I try to just run everything full force. And I've always walked with a confidence about me. I've always done that. And I think, honestly, that's what got me through some very tough times as a kid. Somebody who was bullied mercifully in school. Somebody who had, and still does have, a lot of insecurity. And somebody who sometimes just lacks the kind of personal confidence it takes to really handle this situation with wisdom and patience and calm. Tonight, reports came in that a siren was sounding. This was the second time this had been talked about. And ironically enough, this time it was real, and this time it was after the storm had passed. So my instincts told me that something wasn't right here. As we came to find out later, it wasn't right. Something went wrong, as they sometimes do. And in my frustration and my zeal to take over the situation and try to clear things up, I simply threw attitude around where it didn't belong. Now, there have been many times where the siren I mentioned, these Q sirens on these fire engines that they do hold that same tone, have been confused for tornado sirens. That's happened many times in other streams. So I simply assumed, and we all know what assuming does, I simply assumed that that's what was going on because I've seen it many times. It was what made sense to me in the moment. And I let it distract me. I let it completely take my eye off the ball and take my focus off the stream, even going to a break in the stream, stopping my coverage to try to square up what I thought was everyone else's mistake, to simply not look at the fact that it was mine. Now, I will say that what I did tonight is what I tell myself and others is absolutely unforgivable for many who do my job. And oftentimes many who do my job in much higher places with much larger audiences. They sass the audience. I told the people of Italy to get it together. I needed to get it together. I needed to lower my tone and put myself in check, because I made the mistake tonight that I have told many people in other situations to never, ever make. You are not smarter than your viewers. You are not smarter really than anyone. Over the past several years, I have gained a lot of prominence in this position. People call me a celebrity, and I never really have gotten used to that. It's my hope that in that moment I didn't let it go to my head. I don't think so. I think it was simply my confidence that I was trying to take over the situation and trying to make sure we had clear information, and I just got perhaps too confident, but at the same time, not confident at all. Maybe just not competent. And so to the people of Italy that I basically wrote off tonight, the chorus of people telling me what was going on, I apologize. There were comments that came in from folks involved with the fire department, the city council, people who quickly could have set me straight. And apparently, when I'm going through the comments and watching those, they were coming in so quickly, I never saw them. I never saw that these officials, these people in higher places that really should have been the first to catch my eye, I just never saw them. And I'm going to see if maybe there's a way we can make that better. I was getting important information, or informed information, I should say, from different sources that usually should have pretty reliable info. There was a fire truck going through at that time. If anything, this was just really weird timing for that situation to happen. But mechanical malfunctions, as this turned out to be, are common in storms. And I should know that. I do know that. I need to be patient. I need to be wise. I need to be humble. And I need to shut my fat mouth when the people of Italy are trying to set me straight. And I simply get frustrated and think I'm going to tell them that's not my job. It's never been and never will be. It's not my role as a human being. And so to everyone that watched that stream, whether you're in Italy or just somewhere where you happen to be watching and heard that tone, I want you to know that you have my humble and deepest apology. Never, ever do I want anyone to come into one of my streams and feel that way. And feel that I'm somehow making myself better than you. That I'm telling you how to get it together when you're the one trying to set me straight. Going forward on this stream, when something like that happens, I'm going to shut my mouth and wait until I get all the facts. There's been times where I'm working on a forecast and I'm so focused on getting the information out there because of the speed and the temptation that comes with social media. I have to tell myself, I've said it out loud in this office at times, stop and get all the facts first. That's what I should have done. But I simply was too anxious because of, number one, the apparent lack of awareness of the storm as it was and the concerns that fueled that, and the frustration by the fact that this was probably one of the worst timed, possibly the worst time events to have happened tonight. It was weird timing, and I let that get way too far ahead of me. I'm sorry. I wish I'd have done better, and I resolve to do better. And in the future, when you're setting me straight, I'm going to listen. Italy, Texas might be a small place on the map for most. I've known Italy my entire life. It's an important part of Ellis County. You folks are a big part of Ellis County's rural heritage. Waxahachie and Midlothian and Red Oak and some of these other places are growing very quickly. If you want to see rural Ellis County, if you want to see what a small town looks like, you go to a place like Italy. Please understand that I don't look down on Italy at all. I hold you all in high regard. I have close friends that live there. It's a great place. And Italy is the way to say it. Trust me, I'm from Waxahachie. I understand when somebody might mispronounce your name, but I value the people of Italy. I value the people that serve that community in different capacities, whether it's the fire department or the city council. I have friends there that tried to set me straight and I wouldn't listen. In the future, I promise to do better. And I promise to not let my attitude and whatever superiority complex took over me tonight, I promise to not let that come back. And if it does, you have every right to tell me off as aggressively as you want to. I'll probably deserve it. Thank you for listening.